Hi guys, it's Helen with Wine About Real Estate, and this week we want to continue our conversation that we had last week with Eric. You remember Eric is one of our clients who is buying his first home, so it's very exciting, and he had allowed us to document the consultation process. This week we're going to talk about whether this is a good time to purchase or not. A lot of you are asking Tim and I the same questions, and we want to share this video with you, and hopefully this would help you in making your decision. So once again, Wine About Real Estate and home buying with Eric.
Obviously right now we're in an interesting time in terms of the economy. And from what I understand, the housing market tends to lag behind maybe the bigger impacts of the economy. And so, there definitely was, like in the stock market, for example, a bit of a correction that's happened over the past several months. And maybe that same impact hasn't really hit the housing market yet. I guess as someone, obviously as a buyer that's looking to get the best deal, what kind of guidance can you provide to someone who is looking right now to buy a home? Would you recommend to wait a little bit, or do you think there are ways to go about it, without really trying to time the market per se, that, could help me still move forward in a principled manner?
So I wish we had magic crystal ball that says, "Hey Eric, don't buy now. Wait 2 months. This, the market will decrease a little bit." But we can only speak from experience from the trend that we're seeing through the Atlanta market here, and it's been an increase. We have not seen any drastic decrease yet. And the market is healthy, the market is good. It may not be increasing as fast as the largest cities like New York or LA, but from what we've been seeing, it's been increasing since the last 4 or 5 years, right, Tim? And we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but to us, if you're asking when is the best time to buy, the best time to buy is now, when you're ready, when you're financially ready. What we can tell you is that the rates are good. It's probably record low, from what we're hearing through our lenders and from what our buyers are getting right now. The rates are very, very good. So take advantage of that and start looking, just seeing. Tell us which area you're interested in, and we'll tell you, the prices for that area and what you'll be expected to pay each month for your mortgage. But as far as what's going to happen in the future, we don't know. All we can say is that we have not seen any crazy sign of it dropping anytime soon.
So in our market, in the Atlanta market, we haven't had a crazy price fluctuation. It hasn't been the San Francisco's or the New York's of the world, where we've been pretty consistent. So if you're able to find some consistent areas that will always have demand, you should be fine. At the end of the day, you won't take a loss until you actually sell, right? So if you sell something at a loss, that's when you actually take the loss. So a lot of our clients who had, Helen and I have been practicing for a little bit, a while now, and we've survived the downturn several times because real estate is very cyclical. At the end of the day, if there is no inventory, it's a supply and demand issue. If there is no supply, then the prices have to, it will remain the way it is. So that's why we always say, it's a matter of personal timing. We can't time real estate. If you need something, like we have clients that were nurses and doctors and people relocating. We're working with 2 relocation clients. They're coming. So it doesn't matter, they can't time, they're not timing the market. They're moving here because they have to move here. Yeah. People who are buying have to buy. So it's a very fair question, but that answer really comes from, are you ready? Are you ready to purchase now? Or, we have a friend right now. Her lease is up, and she got a fantastic deal renegotiating with, right now, just because of what's going on. So she's willing to break her lease 2 months early to buy a new construction because she got a great deal. So it is a personal decision on whether or not when to move forward. And everyone knows that, you may buy now, but at the end of the day, you won't take a loss until you sell. but there's ways to work. Me and Helen, we work around that a lot too. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't want you to take a loss at the end of the day. We want you to make money and buy another house or keep this as a rental and build. You know, we really encourage some of our younger brothers and sisters that this is, you know, a real estate investment. It could be your, you know, financial stability for the future. So if you buy something now, why don't you rent out the next one, your current house, and then buy, step up and, you know, move into a bigger house, but keep your original one. You know, so there's ways to work around it. Helen's really big about Airbnb and bringing in residual income.
Oh, interesting.
Making sure that, you know, you can rent. We have a property right now that the landlord, the seller rented out her bottom level, like terrace level.
Yep.
Paying about $800 a month. That was her mortgage payment. $800. It was perfect. So yeah. So we can help you with that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly kind of the mindset that I am going into this with. Similar to your friend, actually, I recently terminated my apartment lease. Cheers. I recently terminated my apartment lease early because, I mean, I just had no need for it. My parents live not too far, so I'm actually living in my parents' basement now, literally. And I'm now hoping to buy a unit that has like several bedrooms, and I'll just live, you know, in one of the rooms and kind of rent out the others to friends or something like that. And then, yeah, I mean, down the line, I do hope to have multiple properties. Still, just I guess kind of daunting to go into it for the first time, not really knowing, because it is a highly leveraged investment. Because, you know, the second I buy, I'm pretty much in debt.
It is, but you're in bed. If you think of it that way, you've been paying rent for the past year.
Yeah.
You're in bed with your landlord for the past year anyhow. So, you know, the other thing that me and Helen, we talk about this a lot is you don't need the 20%.
Yeah.
You really, you know, we had one client, he was so surprised he only had to bring 3%. I mean, floored. And 3. Like,
yeah.
Floored that you only had to bring 3%. And then there's down payment assistance programs. So if you have problems with that, we can, you know, there's DPA, what we call DPAs, down payment assist. You know, there's some strings attached to those, but there's a lot of programs out there that will help you with that. So, you know, Helen and I, our job is to help you make financial sense, right? It has to make financial sense to, you know, so we do sit down with you and we kind of go over the numbers. And, you know, we have, we want to make sure that, you know, whether it be 3%, 5%, 10%, 20%, there's a reason why people do put down 20%. We can go into that another day, but really at the end of the day, you really only need 3%. And making sure, and in your instance, I know that you have some student debt, you have some student loans, I think, right, too?
A little bit, yeah, not too much.
So, you know, we have to make sure that takes into account as well, because that is you're right, it is a very leveraged investment, because we like to call homes an investment, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you make money. So we have to make sure that your original investment is protected, that by the time that you sell, you have enough equity that you are able to move up to a bigger house with an investment that you put in. And hopefully that 3% down payment has now, you know, your equity has grown further than the 3% that you put down.
Yeah.
Good questions, Eric.
Giving us the run for the money.
Yeah.